Greetings, YouTube. The other day I was outside feeding the squirrels and birds, or at least putting the food in the feeder for the squirrels and birds. And I could hear my neighbor across the street. It's summertime, windows are open, and apparently he was playing some kind of a video game. At least I assume he was playing some kind of video game because it seemed to be having a one-sided screaming match. And I'm assuming he was yelling into a headset. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. He was yelling into a headset. And what I heard him say very clearly, very distinctly, was, "F you and your little gay hammer." I'm assuming some video game out there that's currently in play has a character that uses a hammer. If anyone could confirm that, that'd be awesome. Now, it got me thinking. You can take inspiration from anywhere. So I decided, let's design a magic item around little gay hammer. So we're going to take it for granted this is a hammer. Okay, so that part of the equation is already reserved. This is going to be a hammer. I'm going to be playing with the Pathfinder or 3.5 set of rules here, but you could do anything you want to. It's a fantasy game. Put it in your system of choice. Now, little is very subjective. I don't think anyone would deny that this is a little hammer. Particularly when you compare it to this, which is a 14-ounce ball peen, and my favorite hammer. When I need a hammer, this one right here is my go-to hammer. I just happen to really like the swing of this particular hammer. Unless, of course, I need something much bigger, which is when I crank out one of my, either my engineering hammer, which I have up here, or my blacksmith hammer, which I have in the basement. Unless I need a specialty hammer like a brass or a lead one or something like that. But that hammer pales in comparison to this 14-pound sledgehammer, okay? And that makes the first hammer look teeny. But seeing as most people seem to think that your average one-handed warhammer looks more like that sledgehammer or Mjolnir than it does this, we're going to say this is little, because this head is a whole lot closer to the size of an actual warhammer head. So we're going to say the hammer has a head roughly this size. It would have a longer shaft. Now, because it's a gay hammer, I'm going to be going with the "now we don our gay apparel" definition of gay. I'm not going to trample on anyone's particular sexual orientation. I think that's in poor taste. However, gay can mean festive. So my little gay hammer is going to be silver-headed mithril with a rainbow striped handle, spiraled, like a candy cane, but rainbows. I've actually seen one of those. They're quite attractive. So you have a rainbow-handled, silver-headed hammer. And little gay hammer, well, this does kind of roll off the tongue. It doesn't really have that magic item vibe, like Sword of Frost Slaying or the Sunblade, or you get the point. So I'm going to call my little gay hammer the Glam Hammer. Okay, so now we've established that it's a relatively little, or at least in the mind of most people, little hammer. It's festive in appearance. It's called the Glam Hammer. So what does it do? I don't want the thing to actually be all that dangerous, so it's only going to do 1 to 3 points of damage. And again, reflecting what most people would assume is very low damage impact on a small hammer, when in reality, a hammer like this on a slightly longer shaft is going to do incredible amounts of impact. That's just the way it is. And a warhammer would probably have multiple points right here, so that would help to bite into armor. But this one's going to have a smooth head, and I tell you why. Because it's going to have the merciful trait, which means it only delivers non-lethal damage. So you could potentially beat someone to death this, but you'd have to reduce them to 0 hit points first, and then keep hitting them when they're lying on the ground, which, let's face it, that isn't particularly festive. So we have a hammer. It does non-lethal damage. It does 1 to 3 points of damage. What else does it do? Well, every time it lands a blow, the target must make a saving throw. We'll say it's a wisdom saving throw. And you figure out what level you want to set it at. we'll just say a target number of 15. It's a good number. And if they fail that saving throw, their clothing changes color, so that every single piece of clothing they're wearing is a different color or pattern. So suddenly we could be wearing leopard-colored chainmail or mail. They could be wearing a gold helmet. They could be wearing pink trews. Everything is a different color. Think Mardi Gras cranked to 11. Now, since we are dealing with the Pathfinder rules or 3.5 rules, they also have critical successes. So on a critical success, once it's been confirmed, and we're going to say it's a blunt weapon, I believe they get a critical window of 2, isn't it? I think it's 19 or 20. We'll say it's 19 or 20 for this particular magic item. So the critical window is 2. They fail, or the attacker succeeds on the second blow, second roll rather, and it scores a critical. What happens? The items sparkle. So now the person is wearing a plethora of contrasting, vibrant colors that sparkle. And since we're going to base this off of the prestidigitation spell, so these colors will last 24 hours when they will then begin to fade. So it's a little bit more powerful than prestidigitation, but not much more powerful. Since this is an illusion, true seeing spell could see through it. So the person with true seeing would actually be able to see the true colors of what the person is wearing. But why would you want to? You'd be missing out on all the fabulousness, which I'm not sure is a word, but we're going to go with it. So there we have it, folks. My little gay hammer, the Glam Hammer, able to spread festive joy and gay apparel everywhere it lands a blow. So now I want you to tell me what your little gay hammer is. Again, I'm using the Pathfinder rules. You can use them if you'd like because they're fairly well structured, or you could come up with something that's a little more looser in a system that you prefer. But tell me, what does your little gay hammer do?